Good afternoon, everyone. We've been lucky enough to be invited to Joanne Watson's yard today. Joanne lives in a townhouse complex, so her space is rather limited, but she's done some absolutely amazing things in a smaller space, and we can't wait to share them with you. Thank you very much for inviting us, Joanne.
Oh, thank you for coming to our garden.
So we just came into Joanne's backyard, and it is absolutely amazing. The amount of food that she has growing in this small space is incredible. Who built you all these boxes, Joanne?
Well, the pallet boxes are from a retired gentleman who sells them on McFedrin. And we just spray painted them up, and I've got all my lettuces growing in there, and beautiful lettuce. Yeah, there's two of them.
Wow. This is so great. I think you have more vegetables growing in this small space than I do in my large yard. Have you been living here?
Actually, it'll be 8 years in May. This past May, it was 8 years.
And you were telling me that when you moved in, it was nothing really to look at.
Not really, but it had potential. So in this little area, we have two different kinds of peas. I've got tricolored carrots, Swiss chard, radishes, beets, and celery in this area, and lots of herbs. Yeah. We've got oregano, sage, 2 or 3 different kinds of thyme, rosemary, marjoram, mint, summer savory, 3 kinds of mint.
Well, you know what, Joanne? All I can say is wow. I can't believe what you have done in such a small space. You've made it truly a beautiful place to hang out.
Thank you.
Nice. Do you do a lot of canning and pickling?
No,
and
I do a lot of eating.
A lot of eating.
Canning.
Some.
We'll
make tomato sauces and
yeah.
So not only do Joanne and Eric have an amazingly beautiful yard, they have this fantastic little oasis in the middle to come and sit and relax. Is this a fire pit?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Wonderful.
I can turn it on for you if you want.
And our crib board table. Somebody just phoned. This is my favorite tree of all. Makes a great shade tree, and I love the look of the trunk.
It's beautiful, but you don't know what kind of tree it is, eh?
No, I don't.
Well, we should probably look that up.
This is my favorite side of the tree. It's telling a story through the lines in the trunk.
Thank you very much for having us to your beautiful yard, Joanne. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for coming.
Hello everyone, we're here in Linda Moore's garden. She's been kind enough to invite us to come and do a tour. Her yard is a beautiful variety of shrubbery, flowers, and vegetables. Thank you very much, Linda, for letting us come.
Oh, you're very welcome. This is fun.
Now we're here in Linda's vegetable garden, which is looking amazing. I just looked down and saw this absolutely fantastic asparagus. So what time's dinner, Linda? I'll be back.
Well, there's only 3 asparagus. Oh, but you know, there's one hiding in here somewhere.
How long
there it is.
How long did it take for your asparagus to come up after you? I've heard it's been like 2 or 3 years.
Well, the skinny one over there was a seed, and that one took 5 years. The fat one here, that was a root that you can buy at the nursery.
Yeah, I've bought them and I put them in my garden probably 2 years ago, but I don't know if I'll ever see anything, so.
Patience, and
Okay.
sometimes they're hard to see.
No, I like instant gratification.
Okay. Well, it takes a little bit of work here. Like I said, this hedge is on my neighbor's property, so I can't cut it, I can't trim it. And the roots come into my garden. They just love my garden. So every year, I dig down about this far, and I remove roots. And that's there, wherever there's veggies. And that's a bit of a job, but it's worth it because I do get some garden. That's one thing I have to adapt to, is the cedar hedge. I'll talk to you some more about that when we get up on the balcony. The birds discovered quite a bit of berries. So that's asparagus, and they're called walking onions, those onions with the yellow tops. They make little buds on the top. And tarragon and chives and peas and lots of garlic. And this is chard that I planted in October.
Nice.
So this was my winter chard, and it just sprang up as soon as the warm weather came, and I'm going to turn into chard any day now.
I have to tell you, Linda, I remember when you used to work at the community center with us, and you used to bring in the most amazing salads. And I would say probably 90% of it was stuff from your garden, so it was super, super fresh. And I used to love salad day.
Well, I'm still hoping to have some good lettuce. So far, the new resident bunny, who I don't know how to deal with bunnies yet, has been eating my lettuce as soon as it pops up. So we're working on it. We'll have salad eventually. Just checking underneath my kale leaves to see if I'm getting little eggs from the white butterflies that fly around. And so far, just maybe one. That's not too bad. So soon I'll start spraying them with some soap and water, or putting some coffee grounds along the bottom. And if it gets too much, well, I'll just sort of pick all the leaves, wash them well, and store them for the winter. Called the freezer. So we have some red broken pottery in my strawberry patch. The reason being is that a few red stones or pieces of red in a strawberry patch will attract the birds before the strawberries are ripe, and they'll think, oh, these are strawberries? We're not going to bother with this garden anymore. And they don't come back. At least that's the hope. So it works from what I'm told, so I'm trying it. This is the beginning of a hugel. H-U-G-E-L. And hugels started in Europe, and basically you start with some nice dry logs, lay them along the bottom, no particular order, then some bigger branches, and then some leaves, and then your compost, and you put more compost every year, and you eventually have this mound, put soil, and then you can start planting, and as it rots down, it continues to feed the plants that are on the top. I started this 3 years ago, so it's still rotting down. Has a few plants coming up this year, and it will also have squash. And it's really nice because the squash covers the whole hugel. You don't have a mound of dirt for the summer, and makes good squash.
Okay.
A few years ago, I used to have a big holly tree here, and every time I gardened, I got prickles. So I put this ground cover. Well, this ground cover is highly invasive, and I'll tell you, it's big work every year. Cut all around it, keep it contained, and if it ever decides to get really, really bad, it's gone. And it is called, can't remember. So this is my reason for being here. This is the place I love to be, and this is because it has The nice view of the water. Something I bought this house for. When I walked up on this balcony 40 years ago, I said, this is it. We're buying this house. Let's look inside now. So as a result, we have a big balcony. I have grow food on the balcony. See some lettuce and herbs here. And the lettuce is pretty obvious. Lemon thyme. And chives. Ready for my salad, like Karen says. I like to make salads. I'm experimenting this year with carrots in a pot. I'll have to let you know later. Red strawberries do great up here. And just for you, the iris is blooming. It's never, ever been this big, and it really is ready to go to a garden. But it's still surviving in this pot, so you must like it just a little bit.
It's beautiful.
And then not only just being up here, I can get a nice shady start in the morning from my nice maple tree. And then of course I have all these lovely trees all around me. That lilac isn't even mine over there. I mean, it just looks beautiful. It's a nice neighborhood. Just a little noisy from the Alder Highway.